Hi, 8th graders. Mrs. Hollenbeck here, and I'm going to do lesson 14. It's on page 55, as well as context clues on 179. That lesson begins on 179. I'm still with a sinus infection and ear infection, so if I'm talking loudly, sorry, I don't realize. Okay, our first word is blithe. It is an adjective, and I believe I told you about a student I had. Her name was Blythe, and very energetic little sprite of a being. She was very happy and just not a care in the world, very whimsical. She fit her name, Blythe. Okay, it's an adjective. The next word is seed. Seed is a verb. This spelling, all right, it has homophones, I know, but this particular spelling is a verb. And this is when you want to relinquish the rights of something. It could be a piece of land, and you would cede that to somebody or the government or something, okay? You would give up any responsibilities for it, this plot of land, or any title that you had, all right? So if you cede something, you cede responsibility, you give it up. It's all yours, okay? So if somebody wanted to perhaps, let me use the example of the melodrama we're doing. When it was first done, I ceded the melodrama to a teacher. She was a vicar's wife who wanted to do, she's really into theater, and she wanted to do this, and so I ceded the director position to her, okay, and I just did costumes and stuff. So anyway, that's seed. Chagrin. Chagrin is a noun. It's an emotion, all right, and it's if you are embarrassed about something, you might hear it stated, much to her chagrin, much to her embarrassment. She saw, somebody she knew when she was at the store in her pajamas, that would be a reason for chagrin. Okay? It's like it always happens to me when I go to the liquor store to buy wine that I use in my cooking. I don't drink the wine, I use it in my cooking. I always see some students' parents over there. It's like, much to my chagrin. I go there once every blue moon, and then I see all these people that I know, like I'm there all the time. That's cause for embarrassment, chagrin, and then anything I say, oh yeah, this is just for cooking, sounds like an excuse, but it really is. Anyway, our next word is debonair, and it's a French word, debonair, and it's a adjective. And a person like 007, he's very debonair. When a young man, this is not a term, an adjective you would use to describe a girl. A guy would be considered debonair when he's dressed sharp and looking good, and then is charming. Okay, that's a debonair person. Okay, or gentleman. Okay. Filial. Filial, and this is a word that really applies to you. It's an adjective. There are filial responsibilities that you have for your folks. All right. These are different responsibilities that a son or a daughter owes to their parents. Okay? So, for instance, you might have filial responsibilities with regards to a specific time that you have to be home. Those are your filial responsibilities. You may have filial tasks that you have to take care of at home, or chores, filial chores. These are chores that you owe your parents to do that because they're providing, a roof over your head and 3 square meals a day and this sort of thing. And so it's that attachment, that responsibility. It's an adjective to describe that attachment that siblings feel or children feel for their parents. Okay, I have a filial responsibility to take care of my mom, and so we're moving south so that I can do that a little bit more easily. Okay, that's filial. Interpose is a verb. Now, interpose, I believe we had it as an analogy, and so I gave good sentences. If I interpose, I'm going to interject here. I'm going to interrupt with and go a different direction or with some new information. Let me interpose here and give some new information, okay? Or take this conversation a different direction, okay? That's interpose, and it's a verb. Intrinsic. Intrinsic is an adjective, and it means part of one's nature, okay? Almost that they inherited, that a person was born with something. Now, I think some of my kids have an intrinsic aptitude for art. It comes out in different ways, but it's intrinsic, even appreciation, all right, and an aesthetic appreciation, that's intrinsic. And in some people you might see are just intrinsically drawn to help people, to serve people. All their friends are the type that need help. They surround themselves around people they surround themselves with people to whom they can reach out and help. They have an intrinsic need to help people. I have an elder son like that. He likes to help people. So, and it's an intrinsic thing. We've seen this from the very beginning of his school and just even before school. He had this need. Okay. So intrinsic is an adjective. Okay. Precipitate. Now, depending on how it's pronounced, it could be a verb or an adjective. If it's precipitate, that's a verb. Precipitate is an adjective. Okay? So, precipitate, if you precipitate something, you cause it to happen. Okay? And usually it's causing something to happen really quickly. Alright? So, you might precipitate an adventure to the movies. So you would call people and try to arrange rides and this sort of thing. That would be the correct usage for the verb precipitate. Okay. If it was a precipitate decision, all right, it was a very hasty, reckless decision. Okay. And if you decide, oh, I'm going to take a quick trip to Nebraska this weekend, all right, I'm leaving in 15 minutes. That's a precipitate decision. Okay? All right. So, verb or adjective. Okay? Proficient. Proficient is an adjective. I think I gave some sentences with this one as well when we looked at it with analogies. Proficient means you are good at it. You have some skills at something. You might be proficient in grammar. You might be proficient in understanding mathematic equations. You might be proficient in some basketball skills. All right, means you have a handle on it. You're pretty good. Okay, I see the word pro in there, and so I remember this word by thinking, oh, I'm a pro at, or I'm proficient at. Okay, remission. And this is the remission is a noun. That ION ending makes it a noun. Okay. Let me skip back. I just want to make sure that proficient is an adjective. I told you that, I hope. All right. Remission, it's a noun, and certainly if you know anybody who's gone through cancer treatment, if the cancer is in remission, it means that the symptoms are not there. It's backing away. All right. It is not as intense. It is going away, diminishing, going away. All right. Another remission might be if somebody owes you some donut money. You paid for their donut, they owe you that 50 cents. You might allow them a remission. All right, say, forget it this time. I'll at my treat. That would be a remission. You are releasing them from that debt. Okay. All right. Those are our 10 words for lesson 14. Now, let me boogie over to 179. I was looking there just prior to the lesson, trying to prep, and what I've seen is quite a bit of synonyms, but they're not right next to the word. They're somewhere in the paragraph, but they're either before or after, so not typically right after. So give a look there, but a lot of synonyms. There is an example in the first column, all right, where they give you the meaning of the word by giving you an example. Okay, so watch for that. Yeah, otherwise, I'm looking, I don't see, oh, there's a contradiction, they'll give you two words that are contrary to each other. One of the words is one of our vocab words, so watch for that. That's in the final column. And otherwise, it's looking like just more of a synonym sort of thing. I do not see, in my quick little look, I do not see any, hi, good morning, Chloe. I do not see any similes. All right, so I think you should be okay. Alrighty, I'm going to try to put up 15 this evening, too, because I know